Hi guys, welcome back to another predictions video. I wasn't very successful last week in predicting the Premier League, but we'll give it a go again this weekend. Right, let's start with the biggest game of the weekend, one of the biggest games in the Premier League calendar, the Manchester Derby. Manchester United are at home to Manchester City. Now, do we get the Manchester United who had the balls to go ahead and attack Liverpool and lose 5-0, or do we get the Manchester United who put on a brilliant display against Tottenham? With Raphael Varane injured, I get the feeling the United aren't going to be as good in defence. Oh, it's going to be a really tough one because you think they may have turned over a new leaf with that victory against Spurs. I'm unsure. I think Manchester City are too good for them. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Manchester City. I just don't think the United system, if they're going to stick with this three at the back, works without Varane, who's now injured. So yeah, sorry Manchester United fans, but I'm going a 3-1 victory for Manchester City. Right, moving on from that, actually, we're going to go to the Friday night game between Southampton and Aston Villa. And if rumour has it, this could be Dean Smith's final game in charge of Aston Villa. They're on a shocking run at the moment. I think it's 4 defeats in a row. And if they lose to Ralph Hasenhüttl's side, he's going to be in big trouble, especially because Villa have spent quite a lot of money since coming back to the Premier League a couple of years ago. They seem to have a very good team on paper. I just don't know why they can't seem to put it together on the pitch. Like, yes, they lost Jack Grealish, but they improved certainly the players in their squad by spending the 100 million that they got from City for Grealish, by buying in some quality players. Leon Bailey hasn't hit the ground running. Danny Ings has done pretty well. They just can't seem to get it together. I don't think they're going to lose, though. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between those two. Next up, we'll go back to Saturday's games. Chelsea against Burnley. Chelsea are in fine form. Burnley obviously picked up their first win of the weekend, last weekend against Brentford, but away to Chelsea. I'm going to go for... I was going to go for 4 then. Is that a bit mad? 4-1. I think Burnley are going to score. Despite the fact Chelsea are very, very good at keeping clean sheets, I just feel like Burnley can nick a goal off a set piece especially. So 4-1 to Chelsea I'm going with. Next up, Crystal Palace against Wolves. Wolves finally managed to pick up a win against Everton. Finally managed to pick up a win. Everton were the ones in poor form. Wolves continued their good form with a victory. Palace picked up a very good win against Manchester City. But 10-men Manchester City. Oh, both teams are pretty good at the moment. I'm going to go for Palace to nick this. 1-0. 1-0 to Crystal Palace. Next up, Brentford against Norwich. I mentioned last week about Brentford being a bad form, which is why I went for a Burnley win, which was proven correct. Even though I didn't get the right score, I got the right result. 2-0 to Brentford. Maybe? Yeah, 2-0 to Brentford. I really struggle to see where Norwich are going to get the goals from, and Brentford are very good at home. So yeah, 2-0 to Brentford. Next up, Brighton Newcastle. Things haven't gone well for Newcastle recently, and Brighton are in some pretty good form, and that turnaround last week at Anfield was impressive. And yeah, Brighton are just such a dominant team, and I feel like Newcastle are going to have to rely on the counter. Doesn't really serve them too well at the best of times. This is just one of those games that has got either a shock away win for Newcastle, or a really comfortable home victory for Brighton. I can't see it being a draw. Cut to it being a draw, clearly. I'm going to go for Brighton to win 2-1. 2-1 against Newcastle. Next up, right, we're moving to the Sunday games now, and we have Everton against Tottenham. Antonio Conte is in at Tottenham, and you'd have thought with a new manager in charge, maybe there'd be an upturn in form. This is Tottenham we're talking about, though. Everton have been on a terrible run of form, and when you're in a terrible run of form, as we know, who better to play than Tottenham? Yeah, you can see the pessimism, the pessimistic Spurs fan in me coming out here. I would like to think there'll be a bit of an upturn in their form. Historically, in the last few years, they haven't been so great at Everton. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I think it'll be an exciting game. I think both teams need a lesson in defending, but a 2-2 draw in the Everton versus Tottenham match. Next up is Leeds United against Leicester City. Much like I mentioned earlier with Manchester United being a little bit inconsistent, same thing with Leicester. Are we going to get the Leicester team who can beat Manchester United, who can put on a strong performance, or are we going to get the Leicester team who, for some reason, are seeming a little bit inconsistent this season? This is a really tough one. Bielsa's Leeds have not been strong. I'm actually going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think they're going to share the points at Ellen Road. It's going to be a good game on Sunday, ahead of what is a great game. We'll get to that in just a second. Arsenal are at home to Watford. Yeah, this is pretty comfortable, I think, for Arsenal. We're going to go for a 3-0 victory. They've been doing quite well recently. 3-0 to Arsenal at home to Watford. And lastly but not least, West Ham against Liverpool. I know I said the game of the weekend is the Manchester derby. It's a massive game, has massive ramifications in Manchester. West Ham Liverpool, purely for their form, is amazing. West Ham are very, very good this season, are on great form at the moment. Liverpool are unbeaten in all 16 games in all competitions, themselves are in brilliant form. But, having said that, in last week's predictions, I said Liverpool smashed United 5-0. They'll definitely beat Brighton at home. And there I was on Monday's video saying how well Brighton did to pick up a 2-2 draw. So, having said that, I think this could be a really good game. With West Ham at home, you'd put money on Liverpool, of course you would. But I'm going to go for another 2-2, another 2-2 draw. I think West Ham are very, very good. Liverpool could nick it on the fact that their defence is very strong. But yeah, a 2-2 draw to round off what would be, if all this came true, not only a very mystic weekend for me, but an incredibly exciting weekend of football. But you guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. And of course, on Monday, I'll be back reviewing all of these and how many I got right, and hopefully not too many of them wrong. Let me know your thoughts below. Enjoy the weekend's football, and until next time, I will see you guys later.